Some of you might know me. And I'm delighted that so many of you turned up for our information session this evening on the Laidlaw Undergraduate Research and Leadership Programme. Most of you would have received an email from the Vice Provost last week about this programme, and we've also been in contact with each of your schools. So, and Joe, who I'll introduce shortly, has been around to each of your schools, so there will be contact as well through the schools and through the SU as well. So what we're going to do this evening is we give a very short brief on the email that was sent around, and we have a lot of information on our website, which I hope some of you have had a chance to look at. But what we're going to do this evening is really kind of take you step by step through the process, a bit about Laidlaw, and then kind of into the application process as well. And we've Audrey here as well from Trinity Research and Innovation, because I know one of the things that we feel students might struggle with is how do I identify a suitable research project when I have to do it myself. So Audrey has a couple of slides that she's going to talk through as well. So the key person who's here tonight is Joe McKeever. Joe is the Student Employability Officer who just started with us at the beginning of January in the Career Service. Joel will look after the Laidlaw programme, so right from now we're looking after all the applications, overseeing the shortlisting, the interview process, and then as the actual programme rolls out, all the different events, workshops, so he'll be the go-to person for all of this. So Joel is going to take you through the presentation, and then we'll take some questions at the end. Thanks.
Okay, good afternoon folks. So I'd like to echo Orla in welcoming you and just saying thank you for coming out on a blustery Valentine's evening. Your commitment to the Laidlaw programme has already been noted. So before we start, just let you know if can everyone hear me okay? Is the volume okay? If you can't hear me, just put your hand up and I'll project a little bit more. So as Orla said, my name is Joel McKeever. I'm the Student Employability Officer, and throughout the whole Laidlaw process, if you have any questions, big or small, I'm the person who can help you with that. There'll be a Q&A section at the end for anything that isn't covered in the presentation. I imagine there'll be at least one question we don't have an immediate answer for, but we will find that for you and get back to you. But really, at any point during the process, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you with anything that comes up. But let's kick off. As we said, we don't want to keep you for too long. So what is the Laidlaw programme? So the Laidlaw programme, the Laidlaw Undergraduate Research and Leadership Programme, is essentially sponsored by Lord Laidlaw of Rothermay. Lord Laidlaw is a Scottish philanthropist who established the Laidlaw organisation to support the objective of facilitating change through education, and a particular emphasis on developing that potential in students of all profiles and from all backgrounds. So to this end, the Laidlaw organisation has generously sponsored the Laidlaw Undergraduate Research and Leadership Programme in a number of universities that it's deemed as aligned to those goals. And as of this year, Trinity becomes the first Irish university and one of the first international universities outside of the UK to join that programme. So at its core, what the programme entails is leadership development for undergraduates and an independent research project. So essentially what the programme will consist over the course of 2 years is the ongoing leadership development, the ongoing development of your own original research project, which you'd engage with a research supervisor. And around that, there's a network of networking events, mentoring activities, and online e-learning and other digital education opportunities as well. So in terms of who the actual Laidlaw scholars currently are, so these are the universities that have taken part in the programme up until now. So we've Durham University, University of Oxford, St Andrews, University of Leeds, York, and University College London. And then coming online now along with Trinity, we have Columbia University, Tufts, the University of Cape Town, and University of Hong Kong. So it's a real spectrum of universities. They're all research-intensive universities, elite institutions, but with a big focus on developing an international profile. So I suppose one of the things we'd like to emphasise that on being part of this programme, this isn't something you're just doing in Trinity. It's something you're connecting with students, like-minded abilities and similarly driven students all across the world. So what are the qualities we're looking for in a Laidlaw scholar? So we're looking for self-motivated and ambitious undergraduate students. We're looking for gifted students irrespective of their background. So I suppose one of the things we'd like to emphasise, and which Lord Laidlaw has emphasised in devising the programme, is that this is not just for the most academically brilliant and gifted students currently. This is a development programme. This is for people who have leadership and research potential in a lot of different areas, who are coming at this from different perspectives and who can bring a diversity to the programme. So you really shouldn't be looking at this as something that is just for the top tier. It's not an elitism approach. It's very much a communal and developing a community of people who are ambitious and looking to develop their skills. So we're looking for students who are driven to develop in areas like self-awareness, initiative, your motivation, your creativity, who are looking to develop their employability and looking at what skills they can get through their degree programme, which will make them more experienced in terms of both academia and also going on into their careers, and have the potential to develop those skills over the course of a 2-year programme. So currently, as Trinity will be starting for its first year into this programme, anyone who takes part in the Laidlaw programme this year will be a pioneer. You'll be the first Trinity students to go through it. But as I said, there is a network of other universities who have taken part to give some guidance on what the process has been like previously. So we have some examples here from the University of York of students who have previously gone through the programme. And for example, Bethany here says that even just applying for the Laidlaw Scholarship helped me think about what I really wanted to do and what was important. Rossi says the leadership side has taught me who I am, and the research side has allowed me to understand others better. Kane says employers want more than just a degree, and the Laidlaw Scholarship provides that extra edge. And Demi says, I'm happy knowing that I'll be coming out the other side with a deeper sense of self, a qualification in leadership and management, and the characteristics of a future leader. So I suppose in terms of the nuts and bolts of actually applying for the scholarship, these are the criteria that we're looking at for if you're eligible to apply to the programme. So if you're looking to apply, you're currently a registered student. You're in either the second year of a 4-year undergraduate degree programme, the second or third year of a 5-year undergraduate degree programme, or the second or third year of a 5-year integrated master's programme. You're available to take part in all the mandatory research and leadership modules. So there'll be modules across the 2 years of the programme. They'll involve things we'll go into in more detail in later slides around residential weekends, the actual research period of the programme. Now, we will try to tailor those modules and the times they take place around the availability of the people taking part, but there is an expectation that if you're involved with the programme, you'll commit to every part of it and be fully involved in the community. And last but not least, you're excited at the possibility of being one of Trinity's first Laidlaw scholars. So we're really looking for people, one of the criteria we're looking at, people who will really engage with the programme and really advocate it and become a big part and really engaged part of that community. So an overview of kind of the in-depth, what the actual detail of the programme is, what will you need to put into the programme, and what will you get out of the programme for taking part. So these are the commitments we expect from people applying. There'll be at least 6 days of leadership training over the course of the 2 years. There'll be 2 summer networking events. There'll be 10 full-time weeks of research over the 2 summers. So that's 2 periods of 5 weeks, one this summer and one the following summer. There's additional time around that you'll have to budget for online learning, because that might be preparation for your modules, that might be engaging with people online in online-only modules. They'll be preparing blog posts about your experience, mentoring and supporting people who are entering the programme next year, and will help you develop actual, I suppose, practical design and implementation skills, things like producing posters that explain your research, producing video summaries on the work you've done, and we will help you compile a 3,000 word final report on the project as well. So coming out of the Laidlaw programme, you have actual, I suppose, implementable skills that you've developed specifically through the programme, in addition to the actual learning you've done in the modules. In terms of the rewards from the programme, I suppose one of the most immediate engagements we have is that you have a €550 per week research stipend. So we are paying you to undertake this research. It's part of the commitment to full-time commit to that project for those 5 weeks, engage your research supervisor and delve deeper into your research. We'll support you through a stipend for that period. You also have the opportunity to apply for additional funding, for travel funding, if you feel that your research will be better served outside of Dublin or outside of Ireland. If we feel that it's relevant to your research, there's funding there for that as well. You have the opportunity to gain valuable transferable skills in project management, leadership, communication and team working. You'll be able to undertake a unique research project with an experienced academic. So I suppose one of the big benefits of this programme is you're engaging in research which is outside your core curriculum, which is not part of what's being examined for grades or the pressure of essay deadlines. Is to really engage in a deeper way with the subject that you've chosen to study at Trinity. It'll increase your employability by developing your knowledge, your skills and your confidence. And as I said, you'll join a prestigious international community of Laidlaw scholars and be involved in a number of networking and profile raising opportunities during the programme. So what is the actual timeline of the programme? So currently the most important window we're in now is the application window. So applications will close on the 29th of March. Applications are available on the Career Service website under the Laidlaw pages. and we'll go through in detail what you need to complete an application, but really that's what you need to be looking to. Application by the 29th of March, bearing in mind you'll need to have developed your research idea and contacted a supervisor by then, but we'll look at that in more detail in a few slides. And then after the application window closes, the interviews and shortlisting in the middle of April, announcement of scholars at the end of April, with our first welcome event and our first residential weekend at the start of June. And then between that residential weekend and really the end of August, you have that period in there to agree with your supervisor the 5-week research period that you're going to engage with, and really dedicate yourself to that for that 5 weeks during the summer. So when we come back in September, you'll be expected to submit your video, your 3-minute summary of your experiences so far, and we'll have an event where we can display this for the Trinity community. Then there'll be another leadership event in November, and then between November and across January, February and March there'll be further leadership events, there'll be mentoring opportunities, and a lot of the online learning and online engagement will take part there as well. There'll be a residential weekend in March of 2019, and then coming into 2019 in that summer, that'll be the second phase of your research project. So we'll really be looking at in the second phase of the project, you're looking at to develop on the work you did in the first year, deepen that question, and really look at it from a very involved angle with your research supervisor. And then finally, coming up to August in 2019, you have your final poster design and report submission, culminating in the last leadership event, which is just like the start of October. And then we have the final poster presentation closing event, a big celebration for the end of the first round of the Laidlaw programme. So what is actually involved in a leadership development programme? So this is what we're looking to do with the programme. These are our aims. We're looking to help you develop your academic and your practical leadership skills, to understand and cultivate your personal leadership style, improve your resilience and your self-management, and enhance your ability to problem solve and communicate successfully. So some of the activities you'll be engaged with to do this, as I said, you have residential leadership weekends with the Laidlaw group and with our facilitators. Will help you develop an individual leadership plan for yourself personally to attune to your own personal leadership style. You'll be engaged in coaching and mentoring activities. You'll take part in teamwork and classroom-based projects. And as I said, there'll be online learning resources and leadership forums as well. So in terms of the research project, what you'll be looking to do between now and when you submit your application is you need to define a research question which is feasible as a project over 2 5-week periods in consecutive summers, one which is not part of your current core assessed curriculum. So while it can obviously be inspired by things you've learned or tangential to the subjects you've engaged with already as part of your programme, this is not part of your actual degree programme. It has to be separate to that, and it's something you can develop over the course of the 2 years. So you have to identify a research supervisor who will be able to write a supporting statement confirming that your project is feasible within that period and is of academic value. Ideally, whose research interests are aligned with your project, so they'll be helping you through this project over the 2 years. Who will be available for the periods that you're researching to support you in refining and progressing your project, and will be able to support you in any necessary requirements within your department. So if your research project involves some ethics component or a lab safety component, the academic has to be there to help support you with that as well. So just to look slightly more in depth on how you might define that research question and identify your research supervisor, just invite my colleague Audrey Crosbie from Trinity Research and Innovation just to speak to a couple of slides about that.
Thank you. So this is the academic structure of the university. Did you know that? 3 faculties, 24 schools. So maybe just as a show of hands, who's in arts, humanities and social sciences? Okay. Health sciences? And then engineering, maths. Okay. That's actually, it's a really good split, isn't it? So I've got web links on all of these, and Joel, you're going to send them around to everybody afterwards. So each of these is a web link, and I can go through them, but you will find the structure, academic structure of the university. Each school has its own web page, and each school web page has a research page and has a people or staff page. And that may be your first port of call if it's not somebody who's already lecturing you, okay? So if you're currently doing some course that you really like the idea and you've got a research question and you've already spoken to your supervisor, that's great. If it's something that's out of your current study area, then you need to go digging a little bit more. And that's what these slides are aiming to do. We have restructured our research activity into thematic areas. There's 19 of them. I haven't even taken them all in the screenshot here. So if you look at tcd.ie/research/themes, each of these pages has a short 3 or 4 minute video in layman's terms as to layperson's terms. Layperson's terms as to what the research area is. It highlights 4 or 5 researchers who excel in that field, and then it shows there's a link that shows you all the researchers in that area. And once you click on their names, you basically see their CV. Okay, you'll get a biography, what their interests are, publications, and some of them, if we're lucky, put up their projects, their existing or their current projects. So that's a good source of information as to where to go and find out who's doing research in college in a particular area that I may be able to think about my research question, and I may be able to find myself. We call them principal investigators, actually. You might call them lecturers, we call them principal investigators. The other thing you can do is that if you have a particular keyword or keywords, you can go onto the research website, and down here at the bottom you can do a search for expertise. So if you want to do research into the area of autism, for example, you type in autism there and you'll pull up about 19 different names of people across the campus who are doing work. Some may be from social sciences, some may be working, in neuroscience, and again, you'll be able to go in and have a look at what they're doing using a keyword search. So this is the type of thing that you'll get. Big long list, you'll see the school that they come from, but each of those names is a hyperlink into their, what we call, research support system profile. Another really good place, if you are at sea as to what your research question might be, and you're at sea as to what's going on in research within Trinity, is the archive of the news items. You probably don't have as your home page tcd.ie, but if you did, you would see regular updates as to what's going on in Trinity. So the Communications Office have a full archive of news. So it could be about some multi-million euro research grant that's just been awarded, or it could be a news item about a spin-out company that is actually commercialising some of the research that we've carried out. So it does mean a bit of trawling through news and just seeing whether there's anything that grabs your attention, but it's there. So as I said, these are the kind of a suggestion at a high level as to the places to go, both in terms of finding a supervisor and in terms of trying to decide on what your research question is. Sorry, I'm going to go back up and I'm going to escape out of this. So we have these listed up here. So as I said, the research themes. We'll go into the ageing one. Here you'll see our little video. Some featured publications. Here are some of the key researchers. Okay, and you click on any one of those, you'll get their email address, you get their phone numbers, you get their biographies, and have a look at their publications too. See what are they publishing, and is it in an area that you may have an interest in. And then it's time, if you don't know these people already, it's time to approach them. My suggestion is that you do it by email rather than getting them on the phone. If you get them on the phone, the first thing they're going to say is no. Right? So you need to make a short and compelling email to them and ask them, will they have 10 minutes to have a quick conversation with you about taking part in the programme. My other suggestion is that the very senior people have large teams, okay? So you may be better off approaching a more junior lecturer. They may find the programme a little bit more appealing. Roseanne Kenny has a research funding cycle in the tens of millions, okay? So taking on a student for 5 weeks over the summer, she may or may not, I don't know. But so do have a look and have a look at the research. When you go into the websites and you have a look at the research groups, and then you go into the teams, TEAMS, have a look and see who's there. Have a look at even go into their LinkedIn profiles. Try and suss how old they might be, See if you can find any connection to them. If it turns out that they come from the same county or village as you, or you've worked out that your cousin may know them, that's an in. That's a way to engage with them. This is the search one that I spoke about earlier. Apart from the thematic, the structure, as I said, the research structure in thematic areas and those videos and those websites, we also have research institutes, and we have about 40 research centres. Okay, and these are dotted around the campus. So you may find that Irish Scottish Studies is what you want to do, and here you have another grouping of researchers within this area. And again, TCD People Finder. If somebody's mentioned a name to you but you've no idea where to find them, then let me see. The last academic I spoke to today, Fred. Let's see what it comes up with.
This is a very tired computer.
It is tired. It's a bit old, isn't it?
A long, hard day.
Right, there's Fred, okay. Usher assistant professor, okay. There's about 50 or 60 ushers. They're very busy, but they tend to be earlier stage in their careers. He's a biochemist. He does loads of fabulous things in the area of innate immunity, okay. But he's keen to prove himself, okay, as are a lot of the younger ones, because either they've got a short-term contract and they're looking to build up their CV as much as they can, and every opportunity that they have to engage in research, to engage with the student base, to secure funding, potentially. As scholars of this programme, you should be looking, if you're interested in doing a research master's or a research PhD, at the Irish Research Council programme. This would stand very well in your application to be a scholar coming out of this programme. And these younger lecturers, this is what they're looking for. They want PhD students to come, and if somebody who's worked on them over 2 summers on this programme, they've got to know them. You've already thrown around a small research project, it may build into a research master's afterwards. So again, that's how you can use the People Finder system, or again, not unlike going in and having a look at the school pages. If you click on each of the schools, you'll get a list of the who's who in there. And again, each one of these is a link. Here's Keith Timpton. Keith is actually retired, but yeah, so you see it all there, right? It's probably a resource you never knew existed. And then, as I said, the news items. So last Thursday we had the launch of this digital humanities project about recreating. So this is the computer scientist working with the historians on trying to recreate this building here down by the forecourts, which was burnt down in 1922. So they've recreated in 3D. So you put your goggles on and you can virtually go into the building, and they are now making as many of the retrieved documents available electronically. Okay, that's the kind of project that you might like to go to, have a read of the news item and see where yours may be able to fit into it. I think that's it.
Thank you, Audrey. And just in terms of inspiration for research questions as well, on the Careers Service website on our Laidlaw pages, we have a Laidlaw toolkit we're building for you, which has examples of research questions that were undertaken in other institutions. So you can see there's a really wide spectrum of things people have done, everything from Shakespeare to Bridget Jones's Diaries, to STEM topics, which, while they seem very fascinating, as an arts humanities graduate I can't comprehend it all, but it's a real spectrum of questions that have been undertaken, so that's something to look into as well. So I suppose just moving on from the research question onto what funding is available. So as I mentioned, that if you're engaged in the programme, there's a €550 stipend per week that's provided for the 2 5-week research periods across consecutive summers. So in terms of the nuts and bolts of that, the scholars are paid via the weekly Trinity payroll. It's considered an undergraduate student stipend, which means you wouldn't be exempt from tax. That stipend is direct to you as a scholar. The actual submission of the forms and the filling out of the forms will come to me directly. I'm your point of contact for that. As with a lot of things in Trinity, there is a lot of paperwork involved with this, and it does have to be correct for you to be paid. So just something that I want you to flag at this early point. And also that while the application period is still open, it won't be that long until the programme actually starts. Just to bear in mind that payments for scholars can only be made to Irish bank accounts, and that all scholars must have a PPS number as well. So if this is something you're considering applying for, just make sure that all that is in order beforehand. And as I said, there's an additional travel grant that you can apply for as well. That would be applied for to me. The criteria that we'll be looking at for that would make available on the website. But if you're approved for those travel expenses, just to bear in mind that that would be on a receipts basis. So you essentially be, say, purchasing a flight, and then when you provide the receipts to us, you'd be reimbursed for that. So just practicalities to bear in mind before you apply for the programme. So what does being a Laidlaw Scholar look like? What is the practical experience? So as I said, it breaks down into different areas. It's research, leadership and networking. Those are the key components. So in terms of research, you're getting the experience of true research, of focusing in depth on an area of your chosen field and examining it in greater detail. You have the opportunity to engage with a subject that you're passionate about, outside of the pressures of grades or examinations, and become comfortably with genuinely understanding research methods that will stand to you throughout your career in academia and in the professional workplace. You'll have the opportunity to develop your leadership skills, understanding your own personality and leadership style in more detail. You'll have the opportunity to examine your own strengths and see how you interact as part of a team or as part of a project, how you work with other similarly motivated students, and that will allow you to strengthen areas that you'd like to improve on and give you the ability to communicate effectively both throughout the rest of your course and in any hobbies or any extracurricular activities you take part in as well. And in terms of networking opportunities and experience, as I said, you'll be joining an established group of similarly ambitious and capable students from similar research-driven institutions like Trinity. The Laidlaw Scholars Network is continuing to develop, so while there's already a strong established base there, by being involved at this stage, you're part of a growing network of people who are supporting each other in both research and other applications throughout life, and have a very diverse background. So a large part of obviously the Trinity experience and the university experience is being a well-rounded person, a well-rounded student, and not just engaging in academia. And this is a good opportunity to get out and have practical experience and meet people with similar interests. So lastly, coming to the actual application process. So as I said, the application is made through the Laidlaw pages on the careers website. The application has to be submitted by the 29th of March. And the practical things you'll need are your research project title, so the actual research question, a short summary of that research question and the project objectives in simple terms that can be understood by a non-expert in the field, i.e. the people who will be reviewing your application, a statement of support from your project supervisor, a statement on how you wish to develop as a leader, and a statement on how you intend to develop academically and personally through research. And both of these are quite short. As I said, they're about 300 words max, so it's really to the point what you hope to get in these two different areas. The one thing I would recommend in terms of practicalities, the application is made online, it's made through SurveyMonkey. These are things you should be preparing beforehand before you start the application. You have them to the side ready to go, you plug them into your application just to save any frustration with if the application closes down while you're in the middle of it. This is something you can start thinking about now before you actually fill out the form. So lastly, what's the next step? So once the Laidlaw programme is underway in Trinity, over the next year we're looking to have across the Laidlaw organisation there'll be 450 students participating in the programme internationally 3 years from now. We're looking at building and developing a community of leaders who can contribute effectively in all parts of society, who can become an international example of exceptional academic and leadership achievement and create a wide-reaching and diverse network of international scholars.